I want to talk to you about minimum order quantity and why should you care about this metric at all, and how do you really use it to optimize your inventory management. So here are the generalities I want you to pay attention to. The thing is that setting minimum order quantities is really beneficial for both suppliers and buyers because a lot of folks believe that this is something for the suppliers only. No, but as a buyer, you also want to have an MOQ sort of a setup. So having the right amount of inventory is really vital for, let's say, for all kinds of businesses, especially if you want to sustain your business. You need to meet demand, but if you don't want to hold on to stock unnecessarily, you want to really stick to MOQs. So what is a minimum order quantity? Let me really go back to MOQ 101. So minimum order quantity is actually the smallest number of products that you must purchase in one order from a supplier. So suppliers set MOQs to avoid wasting resources on orders that deliver them little or no profit. So MOQs can be based on the number of units or the total order value. So it can be 1,000 units or, for instance, $2,000. There is a difference between MOQ and EOQ. So basically, when you think about EOQ, think about economic order quantity. Economic order quantity is essential for making informed purchasing decisions. So while MOQ is dictated by your supplier's constraints, EOQ is determined by your business's need to balance cost and meet customer demand efficiently. So that's really important. And so why do suppliers use MOQ? Let's talk about that. Well, suppliers implement MOQ for several strategic and operational reasons, all aimed at ensuring that their businesses is sustainable and efficient. So they want to cover production costs and ensure profitability. They want to streamline the production process. They want to actually enhance quality control and speed. They want to maintain business viability, and they'll also want to create mutually beneficial relationships. Okay, because MOQs help suppliers build better relationships with factories and with business owners like you, thanks to consistent production processes, quality, and lead times. So let me talk to you about the operational impact here. So what is the impact of minimum order quantity on inventory? So supplier MOQs, both high and low, will have a major impact on your inventory. Why? Because they will affect the number of days you hold stock, the frequency of your purchase orders, and the space available in your warehouse. If you cannot meet your supplier's MOQ, you may have to look elsewhere or pay a surcharge to purchase less than the minimum order quantity. So, what about high MOQ here? Well, if you work with suppliers that have high MOQs, you'll need to order a sizable amount of inventory, which might involve longer lead times. So, due to the larger order requirements, your stock will take up more space in whichever inventory storage solution you use, and also be up. It may also help you. I mean, it may also force you to tie up a substantial chunk of your working capital. Or you also run the risk of holding onto the stock for too long, making it obsolete. Now, the plus side is that your administrative costs will be lower, as your orders will need to be placed less frequently. You will also have more opportunities to buy bulk quantities at lower prices, and there will be a less chance of running out of stock. So you have pros and cons, really. Okay. What about low MOQ? Let's talk about low MOQ. So ordering products from suppliers with low MOQs means you will have less inventory on hand, but depending on customer demand, you may need to restock more often, potentially increasing administrative or shipping costs. So when ordering small inventory quantities, there is also the risk of not having enough stock on hand. And in unanticipated moments of high demand, for instance, you may lose out on sales. And I'm not even talking about the the backlash when it comes to your reputation. Now, one thing for sure, if you want to take the guesswork out of restocking, set reorder points in your inventory management software to get low stock notifications and ensure you have enough lead time to replenish inventory of a product before quantities reach zero. But one thing for sure, a low MOQ reduces your working capital investment big time, big time. This way of working also decreases the chance of your stock becoming obsolete or irrelevant over time. So typically, low MOQ products will have higher margins. So let me talk to you about the benefits of MOQs. So we have a clear idea what kind of strategy you should really implement and whether or not you should go with an MOQ operational model at all. So I want to talk to you about the benefits to suppliers and also the benefits to buyers. Let's first talk about the benefits to suppliers. I mean, it's pretty clear that when you think about MOQs as a supplier, you have better cash flow, you have reduced inventory costs, and you have increased profit margins. Let me explain a little deeper. So when I speak about better cash flow, when setting MOQs, suppliers take their total cost of inventory into account and pair it with any other expenses they have to pay before reaching the desired profit level. So when this is managed well, their cash flow is healthier and more predictable. You also have reduced inventory costs. Some suppliers don't even produce goods until a buyer who can meet their MOQ makes a purchase. This keeps stock out of their warehouse and reduces both inventory and manufacturing costs. You also have increased profit margins. So, as noted, supplier MOQs are usually set up in a way that ensures a certain profit margin, and often they will only order new stock when their sales reach a level that creates an operating profit. That means what? That means that even a relatively low MOQ will offer the safety net they need. Okay. So that's actually a non-exhaustive list of the benefits to buyers to suppliers. What about benefits to buyers? Well, you have a saving on bulk purchases, and you also have enhanced relationships with suppliers. Let me break it down. So when I speak about saving on bulk purchases, if you work with suppliers that have MOQs, you'll know you are getting the best price per unit. Buying products in bulk results in savings and more profit on each unit sold. You also have enhanced relationships with suppliers, so your ideal purchase quantity may differ from your supplier's MOQ. This means you will need to work with your supplier to reach a solution, and these negotiations can actually create stronger relationships. So let me talk to you about the types of MOQs here. So MOQs can be simple or complex, and the thing is that your supplier will have different economic constraints associated with your orders, depending on the products they sell. Right? Machinery, materials, shipment costs, bookkeeping costs, and billing costs are just a few examples. And MOQs will either have a limit on one constraint or on multiple constraints. Simple MOQs usually have just one lower limit. So, as noted, this will usually be a minimum value or quantity or units. So that's kind of important. But you also have complex MOQs. So complex MOQs, on the other hand, they have multiple limits. This can include the cost discussed a little earlier, as well as minimum amounts of parts or materials. Let me break it down even further. So when I speak about simple MOQs are very easy to understand. You'll need to agree on a minimum spend or minimum quantities before you place an order with your supplier, right? So this is important. Let me give you an example here. You might think like your supplier. If you have, let's say you have a supplier of personalized merchandise, it wouldn't be worth the resources needed to add a logo or color scheme to a mug or a pen if the buyer was only looking to purchase a small number of items. And what about complex MOQ? Two or more requirements will be in place when you are looking to buy from a supplier with a complex MOQ. You might have to reach a minimum quantity of units as well as a minimum order value, and the requirements might even be more complex than that. Okay, for example, let's say you are sourcing fabric from your clothing line. The supplier might require an MOQ in yards or meters of fabric per color. They'll set up an MOQ that takes minimum span, minimum quantities, and minimum measurements of fabrics into account. As the buyer, you'll need to match all the conditions to be able to place an order. So that's really, again, it really assures them that you have like you are sort of entering into an agreement that could be beneficial for them too. So let's talk about benchmarking here. How do you calculate minimum order quantity? So as a retailer, especially if you design and manufacture your own products for in-store or online sales, you might find yourself sending MOQs for wholesale orders to other retailers. It's actually crucial to understand how MOQs are calculated because they can vary significantly based on industry and product type. So factors like fluctuating raw materials cost and component part prices mean that MOQs are not static, and suppliers gather extensive data to pinpoint the MOQ that maximizes profitability, considering various key parameters in their calculations. So this knowledge, when you have it, when you do it properly, can help you really anticipate and adapt to changes in your purchasing conditions. First thing first, you want to determine demand, then you want to calculate holding cost, you want to find the break-even point, and you want to set minimum order quantity. Let me explain further. So number one, you want to determine demand, right? Demand will vary and be influenced by a variety of factors, including product type, competition, and seasonality. So suppliers review historical data to forecast demand and use it to define the inventory quantities needed to satisfy market fluctuations. Number two, you want to calculate the holding cost. So depending on the products sold and the storage requirements, the cost to store products, also known as inventory carrying cost, will vary. So refrigeration, for example, will incur energy cost, and out-shipped items may take up extra space. So no matter the variations, suppliers will not want to store products for too long because their finances will benefit from a quicker turnaround. This is worth remembering when you are looking for deals. Next, you want to find the break-even point. So when you want to set the minimum order quantities for wholesale purchases of your products, or you want to understand when you have earned back customer acquisition cost for direct to consumer orders, knowing your break-even point is very, very essential. This is when your product sales or your supplier sales are equal to business expenses. So when it comes to MOQs, suppliers consider how many items they need to sell before they can break even and eventually make a profit. So their costs generally include the price of materials or supplies, as well as labor cost, storage cost, customer acquisition cost, and anything else directly connected to a sale. And finally, you want to set minimum order quantity. So once suppliers determine demand, calculate the holding cost, and find a break-even point, they set their MOQs for each product type. So having this in place weeds out customers who want to buy lower quantities, which leads to unprofitable orders. So to persuade their customers to buy in higher quantities, suppliers sometimes offer incentives like bulk buying discounts, and this helps their inventory management and also your bottom line. So that's kind of cool. It's a win-win situation. So let me give you a few pro tips here. I want to explain to you a few tips for optimizing your MOQs. So you want to think about free shipping thresholds for customers. You want to create incentives to spend more. Okay. You want to remove slow moving stock. You want to regularly review supplier relationships. And you also want to automate with technology. Use technology big time. Okay. So when I speak about free shipping thresholds for customers, shipping orders to customers for free after they spend a certain amount is known as a free shipping threshold. It's actually a marketing strategy that can lead to increased conversions. So to advertise this incentive, what you want to do is you can add, for instance, a banner to your website that says spend $50 and enjoy free shipping. Or you could actually convert first-time buyers by offering to ship their first order for free. And another example could be to charge shipping until the customer reaches a specific number of orders and then give them free shipping on their next order. So, regardless of the strategy you use, offering free shipping can help increase the sales and improve inventory management. You also want to think about creating incentives to spend more. You can encourage end consumers to spend more with incentives like lower prices for items purchased in multiples or create product bundles to increase average order values. This strategy of reducing the per item price if the customer buys more is one way to move inventory faster. And if you are selling your products to retailers at wholesale, you can set an MOQ per style or collection, but also create tiers. For example, buy 10 pairs of jeans and the cost is $10 per pair. Buy 20 pairs of jeans and the cost is $8 per pair. Or buy 30 pairs of jeans and the cost is $6 per pair. So the more units the retailer purchases, the less it will cost per pair and the higher the margins will be. Also, you want to think about removing slow moving stock. So the cost of storing stock will vary depending on the product type, right? But no matter what items you are selling, holding on to stock for too long will always eat into your profits. Keep a close eye on which products are selling quickly and which products are sitting in storage for a long time. It's a much easier process and more cost effective to most cost it's more cost effective model to manage fewer items. If you're not selling a particular color of or a variation of a product type, you need to keep it in your inventory. You can run a promotion to try to get rid of the dead stock, and in the future, look to buy alternatives or look for a supplier with a lower MOQ. You also want to regularly review supplier relationships. Some suppliers increase their MOQs or have a price point that makes it difficult for you to make a profit, right? So if you have a strong relationships with them, if you have a strong relationship with them, your best option is to usually negotiate with supplier relationship, like go through supplier relationship models. So when it becomes impossible, though, it's time to look at other options. It's one of those things where if you can't really fight it, if you can win it, it's better to change it. It's better to change it. One thing for sure, you always want to try to negotiate supplier pricing before you start the relationship, even if it's a $1 or a few cents less than a listed price. The supplier is likely expecting some negotiations and they will set the tone for your relationship. The worst case scenario is that the supplier will say no. And finally, you want to really also automate with technology. So, enterprise resource planning and material requirements planning platforms have automation at their core, ERP and MRP software. Okay, so using the analytics these platforms offer makes it very easy to manage your purchases and keep track of supplier MOQs. And because the software actually provides near real-time data, you can quickly change your buying habits to meet current needs. Okay. So bottom line is you want to use MOQ to your advantage. Very important. So now that you know what MOQs are, how they are calculated, and the impact of high and low MOQs on your inventory, you are ready to start sourcing suppliers, negotiate pricing, and build long-term relationships. So here's the epilogue. Into this conversation, I spoke to you about MOQs. I give you the generalities, the operational impacts, the benchmarking, the pro tips, and now the epilogue. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will speak to you another time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.